Yo, it's your boy Blackboa, here for another show. Let me show ya. Today, we create group guides, giving you everything thing you need inside your mind. Limited time, not a penny, not a nickel, not a dime. Is it a crime that I turn my stream live? Or would I like to strive to educate your mind? Yeah, it is group day 3, coming at you with a guide better than history. It's another day of Boalation Live. Baby girl, get down and be ready to ride. Another piece of group content that you might want to get into is something known as the Roads of Avalon. This was introduced a few years back, and it is essentially a connection of different portals that can take you from one area of the map to another much quicker than if you were to walk there on your own. Now, as you enter these Roads of Avalon, there's many things to do inside. We will be going over those things as we proceed and show you exactly what they are. But there are static dungeons in there. There's different chests with different rarities with upgraded mobs. There are chests that spawn on timers that you can go after. There are also various crystal spiders, resource nodes, and resource aspects for gatherers to enjoy, as well as power cores, because you can actually put a hideout in these Roads of Avalon. Now, the portals here have 7 charges. We are working on getting a group of 5 to eventually go into the Roads of Avalon. One of the best ways to do this, if you are a group, is to encourage the rest of your group members to unlock the hidden city of the mist known as Breslin. If I were to open the world map, we are actually in here right now. This is where we are. However, to get here is not as easy as one might think. In order to get to the city of Breslin, you must engage in the Mists of Avalon, which are the wisps that you see in the open world that eventually open a portal into the mists. You could do this either in a solo or a duo mist, and all you have to do is earn 50,000 standing in the new city's standing. So if you open up your stats, top left, you can see that there is a new standing called Breslin Standing. This standing goes all the way up to 1 million. Currently, the only use for Breslin Standing is the initial 50,000 standing that you get, because once you get 50,000 standing, you are then able to get to the city of Breslin. You still have to search the mists to find a portal there, though. So once you get the standing, you continue doing mists until you see a portal that says to the city of Breslin. And once you hit the 50,000 mark, it should show up on the map if it's there. So if you're currently on a map and you have 50,000 standing and you don't see a portal, that means it's not in that map. Keep searching the other mists, keep going deeper, and eventually you'll find that portal. But the reason why I say it's the best to do it out of the city of Breslin is because it's an easy access. So we're in a city, and then all we got to do is click on this unstable road here. We're in the city of Breslin. And all we got to do is click on this unstable road, and it takes our group to a random Road of Avalon. This is good for a number of reasons. It's harder for people to track you, and so it could be a safer way to do these types of events. And so what we're doing is this. At present, we are getting a group together as a 5-man group for kind of like the holy trinity of a type of group. So we're going to have a healer, tank, we're going to have additional DPS. And the reason why we're bringing this additional DPS here is because we may do one of those static dungeons in the mists. The reason why we might want to do a static dungeon in the mist is because these dungeons have the highest loot percentages in the game. They're not like your normal static dungeons that you find in the Black Zone or the Red Zone. These static dungeons, specifically in the Mists of Avalon, in the Roads of Avalon, are much better for loot than you would find anywhere else. The catch is, it's pretty easy for them to get dove, so if we do decide to go in, we have to be on high alert because those don't close behind you, and they're pretty pronounced as a place where people will always check to go gank. So it is a little dangerous, but if you can get in there and get some stuff done, it'll be massive amounts of reward. Alright, so we entered the Roads of Avalon and it took us to this random road. Things to notice right off the bat is there's multiple portals and they have varying amounts of charges. If you want your group to go to a certain area, make sure that there's enough charges so that everyone can get through. On this particular zone, we see that there's no dungeons. We see that there's no Avalonian chests. There currently is no random timer chests open or any spiders on the map. We would see that. But there is a bunch of resource nodes that would allow us to gather if we came here to gather. So we're going to start heading to the easternmost gate so that we can actually see if there's PvE over there. So you guys can start moving there and the people in my party. And additionally, we may want to stop in between here here to show you some of the resource areas. So if the group understands that, I'm going to actually turn towards some of the wood nodes here. I want to show you what that looks like. So in the roads as well, if you're a gatherer, there are a lot of mobs known as elemental mobs. These are the elemental mobs I'm talking about, the Runite Elemental. When you kill these as a gatherer, you can gather the T6 resources so much faster than if it was a regular node. So that's what there's so many different types of them here for all types of resources. And there's also a lot of varying PvE that you could find along the way. As you can see here, we have this, looks like a mini boss here. These bosses can actually be taken as a solo. And as you can see, we just got 67,000 fame for that. So that was a big one. Now that you know, there's also some roaming mobs that upgrade. More elemental mobs. I want to see if we could find an aspect mob, whether it's a boss or a small one. There are aspect mobs that can be gathered at a very fast rate, and they also have huge amounts of ticks. So when you gather these resource mobs, they literally will have many hits so that you can gather quicker and level up faster. So for gatherers, the Roads of Avalon are a good idea. You could do group gathering, and the big ticket ones are the ones that have veteran status or elite status. They have a lot more ticks than your typical would. Here is an example of one of the elemental mobs. If you were to kill this, it would have a lot more ticks than your typical mob would. And so when you find these, you know you've hit a mini jackpot. Make sure you and your group gather them. I'm not sure how many hits this one will have in particular, because none of us have tools, I don't believe. But it will have a significant amount of ticks. Oh, actually it does have that. Elemental mob had 20 ticks. Very nice. Alright, so we went through a portal, and what we see in this zone is some interesting things, actually. We have some blue chests, as well as green chests, that you can see on the map that have some very good gear. We also have a random dungeon that we're going to want to do after this. We have more resource nodes of the leather variety and ore, and then of course there's a lot of other exits here that you can take a look at. So there's a fair amount of things to do. We're going to go and try to do this blue chest right now and see how it goes with our squad, and hopefully it'll go well. So as you go through this blue dungeon, you eventually will clear enough mobs to open up the chest at the end. And sorry, this is not really a blue dungeon, it's a blue chest area, but you just have to make sure you clear all the enemies, similar to how dungeons work before the chest will be unlocked. That stops rats from just coming in and taking the chest and killing the boss. And we hopefully will get a nice piece of loot, but it does appear to be a purple chest, so that's good news. Total 1.29 million. Not bad for a T4. I got 300k there. And there you have it. That's how to do blue ones. There's also gold ones, which require even a larger group, 10 to 20 man chests. They're almost like Avalonian raid mobs as well. So those will be very difficult to do. We can't do that with a 5-man squad, but just telling you that those are available if you have a larger party. All right, so we entered a static blue dungeon in the Roads of Avalon. You will see when we open up the chests, the chest percentage for loot will be much higher than you would expect in a random group dungeon or a black zone static dungeon. This is on purpose because it is a little bit of a riskier area to go to in terms of dungeoning, and it's so, you know, there's one way in, one way out type deal. You can still lay out, but the risk is there. It does not close behind you here in the roads, and so you have to be very careful about getting jumped, but we're pretty much ready for it. This crew is good. It's only a T4 dungeon as well, but I'm excited to show you how much bonus loot you can get via these dungeons by doing them. So as you will notice, there will be a much higher percentage of loot chance in here. There's 158k, but the chest bonus is 610%. This is much higher than any other group dungeon you would see. So if you really like group dungeons or even static dungeons and you want to bring a group together, you can potentially get extremely lucky, especially if you're in a T7, T8, T6. You might be able to get some big bucks. So always remember, these dungeons in the Roads of Avalon are unique because their bonus loot is massive. Chat, I don't know if you're AFK, but we got a gold chest here in a 7.1 dungeon. Maybe it'll be good loot. You guys want to check it out? 6 million. Nice. I got 700k there. Woo! Big loot. Oh. Wait, he wants to get caught? Alright, careful. This guy might have a one-shot. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Oh, shit! Oh, no! What the fuck? Yo, don't do that. Fuck, man. Alright, loot his gear. We're gonna give it back to him. But Jeffy, if you're watching, never just come to us, bro. Like, I didn't see any of that shit. Don't ever come to us. I'm so sorry. But like, yeah, the Carleon faction is messed up because we can kill each other unless we're in a group, even if you're in a guild or alliance. So yeah, you were dead before I realized what was happening, honestly. The next piece of content we're going to do is for a 5-man group, and this is known as Hardcore Expeditions. Hardcore Expeditions have many different levels. I believe they go up to level 18, and the way that you get started with the Hardcore Expedition, which is a pure PvE experience, is you would either find one of these tokens through your travels in the open world doing whatever you're doing, or you could purchase them in the marketplace. There is a token category. You go down to the map. Map is what this is called. Even though it's like a token, it's actually a map. And because my crew and I are new to this, and if you're just starting Hardcore Expeditions, you would be new as well, we're going to see how a level 1 map works, and we're trying not to be over leveled for it. We might be a little over leveled at 4.1, but I don't think so. But we're just going to go through this. Hopefully it's a little challenging since we're not using good gear, but that is how we're going to do it. Additionally, at the end of all of these maps, if you successfully complete the map within the time that it asks you to complete it, you will get as a reward, every single group member will get a map level 2. Actually, I'm sorry, not every group member. The individual who created the expedition will get the map level 2 token, and that will be available for them to kind of keep going to the next level of difficulty. As the difficulty goes up, the mobs do get stronger. Let me go show you how to actually engage in this so that you can see exactly how much stronger the mobs are in a level 1. So we bought our token, we're heading out to the Expedition Master. If you want to know where the expeditions are, it's this little blue portal in just about any city you go to. It's even out in the Black Zone cities as well, and it's available pretty much anywhere. You would go here, click on this Expedition Master. You would click on the token at the bottom, and that says Hardcore Expedition. Place your expedition map here. Now let's talk about this. Number 1, it says the rewards. It's going to give you some silver, and it's going to give you a Royal Sigil pouch. There are also special rewards. When you complete it in time, you will receive a new expedition map of difficulty level 2. As you can see, the difficulty of level 1 is plus 18, plus 18. The loot is 115% increase, silver 150% increase. This should be a very easy one for us to do, but I'm just letting you know that if you have a brand new set of people playing with you, don't be shy to start low. Just see where you guys are at. Clearly, you can always jump ahead if you want to go and buy a higher tier map. You're perfectly capable of doing that. But if you're brand new, maybe start with level 1 and see what happens. So the group is made of 5 people. Obviously a tank, obviously a healer, the rest DPS. Ideally, you would probably want to go in an Incubus mace, simply because it is the best PvE mace in the game. The rest of my items, I'm not sure if they're the meta or not, but it makes sense for me to wear Guardian armor, which would allow me to decrease all damage that enemies deal by 60%. I have some threat generation bonus on my shield, as well as bonus defense from mobs. Marlock will also help me if I get really low. My defense will be increased. This is a straight up immunity to damage while it's being channeled. And then of course I can either use evasive jump to be immune from any damage, or dodge roll. Now for a tank, I'm going to be using dodge roll, I think. And that's how we're going to be avoiding some damage when we have it. Our party members, our healer pretty much is going with the Blightstaff. He is using the Druid Robe, or bonus healing to his heals. I would recommend that he actually change a couple things though. So you're going to want to go single target healing, and you're going to want to go Revitalize for PvE in this particular case, because this is a very good heal. This is a healing over time. You generally want this. This healing is not so good. It's better to use the Rejuvenation. The reason why I have him have a Sacrifice helmet, because the Nature Staff line does not have that big of burst healing. It has some good burst, but not as high as Holy. It's always nice to use this emergency heal feature and heal somebody who's low on health. What we don't have, which is okay, Bow of Badon, which I usually like for PvE, but it may not be meta in these hardcore expeditions. We have my boy Gladden with a Realm Breaker, and he's using Cloth to amplify his DPS. He's looking good. We have Always Lucky with, of course, the Druid Cowl. This is another key element. If you run out of mana, you can't deal damage, you can't get heals. Druid Cowl is a must. He's using an AoE fire fire staff, then fine with that. Good Thetford damage there. And then last but not least, Mr. McStoned is using a good build as well, self-sustaining and AoE damage. So we should be fine. We're going to give it a go, and then we'll see how we do here. But this is how you do it. You just click here, click on the token master, drop the token that you purchased from the marketplace, click register, and someone canceled the expedition. I'm not sure why, but that's okay. We'll do that in a moment. But that's how you would do it. Similar to how other hardcore expeditions work, or expedition in general, you get checkpoints as well, as you can see there. So we do end up dying. I think we get to a checkpoint, but we shouldn't die. Poison. Wrong. Alright, so there you go. So let me just see what happened here. Alright, so basically as soon as we finish this, we finished it on time. So we got the bonus loot, which is a map level 2. Did anyone else in this party get a map level 2? Got you. So the only person who gets a map then is the person who placed the token into the expedition master. So there you go. That's basically HCEs for you. You just keep going until you get to a place where you got to upgrade your gear. Usually people who know this content, they just wear like the highest tier gear possible and just run the harder ones. But yeah, that's how you start it. You just go and do that, and we're all set to go as soon as Gladden comes back. Another group activity that groups may wish to engage in is open world raid zones. We are currently in a raid zone. That's an open world raid. Literally everything, including the dungeon area with the elite mobs, is open world. You don't enter an instance or an entrance. So on the outer side, you have all of these veteran mobs that are nice to kind of get you warmed up if you're new here. And then as you enter the center, there is much harder mobs of the elite difficulty. In the center, there is a boss. There is the world boss that is here. In our group, we do not have a large enough group. We don't have the right composition. But I'm just letting you know that if you wanted to do an open world type of content, you will find an open world boss here. It's very, very difficult to do. But if you know what the mechanics are, you can certainly get it done. So yeah, that's just another piece of content. We'll start faming here, and we'll show you how it works. Yeah, this is actually insane. Insane EXP. I am so happy that they changed everything to a raid. Like this allows for like entry-level raiders to even do this sort of thing, you know? Nice. But we got a boss here too. Oh wait, is it just one? Okay, we just got one. Alright. Luckily this guy doesn't do the charge where he just like does the weird charge, you know? Oh, he does do a charge. He did the charge. Okay. So yeah, we gotta be careful of that too. Another very popular group activity to do is what is known as a Black Zone roam. The Black Zone, also known as the Outlands, is the area of the map where everyone is hostile to each other unless you are in a guild, alliance, or group. So it is a higher risk area, but with higher risk comes much higher rewards. There's bonus EXP in the Outlands, there's better loot percentages in the Outlands, and there's just frankly more things to do that provide larger loot. So when you are planning to go to these black zones, especially if you're a new group or a new guild, it is best to work out of a portal area, especially if you don't have a hideout. Now, the portal area is somewhat new to Albion Online. If we open the map currently, I am in the city of Lyndhurst, and I have walked all the way to this green portal. Every single city has a different color portal, but they all look like this, the Conqueror's Hall. I've walked in here, and I'm about to enter the portal area. You just click on the portal, and you click enter. Now, some of you might be bound elsewhere. So if you have a group that is trying to get together, but you have too many different people bound at different locations, there is a feature that allows you to unbind once per week. So if you need to sync your portal binds, that's a very good way to do it. Otherwise, the only other way to do it is you'd have to run from one portal in the Outland to the next in order to rebind that portal location. After we go into the Black Zone portal area for Lyndhurst, we see this area here. This is the only instance in Albion where there is a shared marketplace and bank. All portal areas share the marketplace and bank with their cities. So when we were to go to the normal city of Lyndhurst, we can use that market, and then we'd also be able to use this market and be the same exact thing. Same with the bank. So just know that that is the same. They have an artifact foundry in case you need it here. They have a repair station. They have an energy manipulator, a travel planner, and then of course the Expedition Master. So we are lucky today because not only are we going to group up as a group to have some fun in the black area, but what better time to group up than during a special event in Albion. Those watching this video will see that this is the first day of the Rites of Spring, and there is a chance that we can hunt down and find a legendary cottontail egg that'll spawn this little fella right here. We can also find one that'll spawn this as well. They spawn as pups, but you can grow them and then have them as mounts. Another good thing for groups to do is when there's special events, do those type of events together. It's always good to check your activities tab for that. And also don't forget that the daily events here also could be something you might want to do with your group. For instance, Hellgate Frenzy. If you guys are doing Hellgates, it'd be a good day to do that today. Now, in our group, when you consider things for what we're about to do, generally speaking, with a group the size that we have, it looks like we have close to 10 people here. You would want to have a couple of tanks, a couple of healers, and the rest DPS, both melee and ranged. I believe we're melee heavy, which is fine. We only have one tank, which is me, but we do have 2 healers. Normally, if you can only get one tank, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Still go out and have a good time, but that's just a typical composition that you might think would be helpful, and so that's what we're about to do. You currently cannot see them because the portal area is currently overpopulated, but they are here ready to go. Now, when we begin to leave, we're not going to do it yet, but when we begin to leave, I'll tell you what we're going to do to make sure we have a safe exit from the portal area. Everyone in our party will go and drink this fountain. The fountain here makes you both invisible and invulnerable to damage. And what we will literally do is use that, have invulnerability, and then we're going to ride to a specific location that we see fit. We're not going to dismount and attack anyone in the zone we're going to be in next. We're not going to gather anything, because if you gather something, even by accident, including like a T1 log, you lose your invisibility and vulnerability. So our job is head straight to whatever location we decide and do that while drinking this fountain so you could be invulnerable. This generally lasts for, I believe, around 2 minutes, so if you have faster mounts, you might even be able to traverse 2 zones away from the way that you entered, and in this case, it would behoove you to use a faster mount if you care to do so. For purposes of today, we will not be using a very fast mount. We're also in lower tier gear because there's going to be a lot of fighting happening. We're just going to have a good time and see what happens. One of the many things that groups can do together is roam the open world of the Black Zone like we are. This one right here is a resource node that has 30 ticks. You are able to do it with your group. You could do it solo. Generally speaking, it's a very good thing to level up your gathering while doing this. Additionally, if there was anything else, you could also do the Roads of Avalon here, which would be capable of doing something there. Prior to the Journey Back ability, groups could open up their own personal banks and deposit loot from the open world in here. In order to do so, all you got to do is click on the Actions tab, click on Manage, purchase a bank tab for about 100k, name it, and there you go. You can use this. It is a temporary banking location. You will need to actually pull this out of here if you ever want to transport it. But just understand, if you're ever doing a transport and you pull something out of these banks, you will lose your ability to journey back. So you're going to have to run to the location you were headed the hard way. As noticed, this is the random chest that spawns for the spring event. We are here with a large group. When you have 11 or more people in an area, you begin to blob. Generally speaking, you don't want to reveal yourself in this fashion, but because we were revealed by other players, we don't mind. We're hopefully going to get this spring chest, and hopefully someone will get the rare cottontail. We got a little bit of eggs, but that was a weak chest. Another point of interest that groups can do are what is known as castle outposts. At various times of the day, they have chests that spawn with a lot of lucrative items in them. You have to defeat the chest guards and any other players who may be wanting to get the chest as well. And once you do, you get a nice big chest. The timing of it can be seen on the world map by clicking on the actual castle outpost territory, and it says the next chest might spawn in 42 minutes. It's not a guarantee, but it's a might. So just understand that this is how you would check when this would come, and you could arrange with your group a time to go and have some fun there. Additionally, there are territories that guilds can conquer and fight over during the seasons of Albion Online. These are used for territory and seasonal bonuses, both in season totals as well as in upgrading the actual zones and territories to get additional bonuses for the guild that holds them. So if you're a guild who's who's looking to do some territorial conquest, this is the best way to earn season points. And it is a very high-risk game with a lot of players involved, but it is something that a guild can get into. Eventually, if your group or guild wants to live in the Black Zone, the game allows you to create what is known as a hideout. Hideouts have a lot of different mechanics, but here's the most important thing for a new guild to know. You can either buy them from the marketplace or craft them at a tool maker, and it's very important to get your group together during the first 20 minutes of placing the hideout, as well as during the last 20 minutes of placing the hideout within a 24-hour period. During those first and last 20 minutes, the hideouts are vulnerable and hence can be killed by other players who want to make your life miserable potentially. So good thing to do is know how to craft it, the tool maker, know how to buy it if you need to, the auction house. Understand that you're going to be vulnerable for quite some time, 20 minutes in the first 24 hours and then 20 minutes at the end of that 24 hours. And last but not least, you may want to make some friends, some allies who may help you as well, because again, politics are very important in Albion. You don't want to have people who want to break down your home. So see the zone that you want to go to, look at the guilds, reach out to them, see if they're friendly to having you there, and that's how you can potentially get a hideout eventually. Power cores, also known as power anomalies, are events that occur that allow you to take a power core and deliver it to your hideout. This is how hideouts gain the power level at the bottom of the screen that you can see right there. The blue bar is the power level, and as you collect this, it increases the power level of the hideout, providing additional bonuses to the recipient guild. These bonuses include higher fame. Every time that they leave their hideout, they get a fame buff, and that allows them to get more fame while they're out in the Black Zone. Additionally, it also gives you protection against getting attacked. The shields are something that also known as defender's points, are impacted by the power level. So one strategy to destroy a hideout is depriving them of power, so make sure you always have some power cores for your hideout. Any kind of blue dungeon entrances that one might see on the map here actually connect to a static dungeon. So if your group does not want to enter a static dungeon directly, you can enter at various different points by hovering over this and seeing where it goes, and you can actually enter from a much different location. So consider doing these static dungeons by entering a side entrance. Another spring treasure chest has spawned for the Rites of Spring event. We are waiting to the north until the timer gets low, and as a group we're going to attempt to gank whoever is there or fight whoever is there and hopefully get the treasure chest. This is just a way that you can, potentially get some loot out of players, also get the chest, and you don't want to necessarily be there right off the rip because then you alert everybody to your location. When this chest pops, I want only one person at a time to open it. The tanks will be the last. Alright, a couple more people can open it now. Go over and do it. I want to wait. I'm just protecting us here. Alright, come back and everybody loot now. Alright, I'm on it now. Hi guys, Blackboa here. Thanks so much for watching my latest video. If you like what you saw, please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. I truly appreciate it. Thanks bros, and I'll see you next time.